You know, have you ever just stopped and looked up at the night sky? It's this view that's totally captivated us for like forever. It's a source of wonder, of stories, of science. So today, we're going to give you a kind of user's guide to that incredible expanse up there. So let's start our journey somewhere really special. Nubra in Ladakh. Picture this. The air is crystal clear. City lights are nowhere to be found. And we meet these twins, Youngdol and Dorje. They're looking up and they just feel this incredible sense of awe. I mean, for them, the sky is this giant, brilliant canvas, just splashed with thousands and thousands of stars. And that feeling they're having, that's something we can all relate to, right? It's this universal human thing. A sky just full of wonder. So what's the first thing we do when we see all those scattered points of light? Well, we try to make sense of it all. Our brains are just hardwired for it. We can't help but look for patterns, connect the dots, and try to see something familiar. Like an animal or a hero, maybe just a household object. I mean, really, think about it. Have you ever done that? Just laid back on a clear night, looked up, and started tracing these imaginary lines between the stars, trying to make a picture? It's basically this giant cosmic game of connect the dots that people have been playing for thousands of years. And believe it or not, that simple, creative act, that's exactly how we first started to map the heavens. So let's dive into how we all started connecting those starry dots. Okay, so take a look here. At first glance, it's just a random jumble of stars, right? But if you look long enough, what do you start to see? Maybe something like a big spoon? Or a hunter with a bow? Maybe even a dog? For thousands of years, people all over the world have looked at these exact same stars and have come up with their own patterns, their own stories. And bam, this is exactly how those patterns started to take shape. See, there's Orion, the mighty hunter, and right behind him is his loyal dog, Canis Major. And these weren't just doodles in the sky, no way. They were our very first maps of the universe, all born from pure imagination. So we call these patterns constellations. Now, you probably think of a constellation as the connect the dots picture itself, right? Like Orion's belt. But today, the official definition is a little different. It's actually more like a boundary line on a map. A constellation is now a whole region of the sky. So, how many of these regions are there? Well, back in the early 1900s, the International Astronomical Union got together and officially carved up the entire sky into exactly 88 constellations. That's it. Every single star up there belongs to one of those 88 patches of sky. But here's the thing. These star maps weren't just for telling cool stories. For ancient people, they were an absolutely critical tool for survival. You could even say they were the original GPS. And this is such a cool comparison. I mean, look, on one side you have an ancient caravan, maybe just like the ones the twins back in Nubra heard stories about, finding their way using nothing but the stars. And on the other side, the map app on your phone. It's the exact same need. Where am I going? Just answered with totally different technology. Yeah, way before we had magnetic compasses, sailors out on the huge empty ocean and travelers in the middle of a desert, they counted on the stars. Stars like the pole star were amazing because they barely move in the northern sky. It was like a fixed point, a celestial anchor in the sky that could guide them home safe. Okay, so how can you tap into this ancient skill today? Well, you're in luck. Let's get into your very own guide to stargazing. All right, rule number 1, and this is a big one. You've got to get away from the city. That constant glow from streetlights and buildings, we call it light pollution. It just washes everything out. You can only see the very brightest stars. If you really want to see the sky like our ancestors did, you have to find a genuinely dark spot. Okay, here's your simple 4-step plan. Step 1, escape those city lights. Step 2, let your eyes adjust. Seriously, give it a good 30 minutes for your night vision to kick in. It's super important. Step 3, figure out your directions, find north. And finally, step 4, you're ready to start connecting the dots. Need a good place to start? Easy. Look for the Big Dipper. Find the 2 stars at the edge of its cup and just follow them in a straight line. They're like cosmic arrows pointing right to the pole star. Or here's another one. Find the 3 stars in a perfect row that make up Orion's belt. Follow that line down and to the east, and boom, you'll land right on Sirius, the brightest star in the whole night sky. Finding these landmarks for yourself, it's an amazing feeling. But it also makes you think, what are we really looking at up there? So let's zoom way, way out and think about our actual place in the cosmos. Okay, here's a question. We all know our sun is a star, right? So why does it look like a giant, blindingly bright ball, while every other star is just a tiny little pinprick of light? It sounds like a simple question, but the answer is, honestly, it's mind-bending. To even start to wrap our heads around this, we need a new ruler. It's called the astronomical unit, or AU for short. 1 AU is just the distance from us, here on Earth, to the sun. That's about 150 million kilometers. So we are exactly 1 AU away from our home star. Okay, got that? 1 AU. Now, get ready for this. The very next closest star, a little guy called Proxima Centauri, is 269,000 astronomical units away. That is not a typo. 269,000 times further away than our sun. The scale is it's staggering. It's almost impossible to imagine. So there's your answer. Our sun isn't special because it's the biggest or the brightest star out there. Not by a long shot. Lots of them are way bigger. It only seems like the king of the sky because it's literally our next door neighbor in the cosmos. Every other star is just so incredibly far away that they shrink down to nothing more than those little pinpricks of light. So, next time you look up at the night sky, remember you're looking at this huge, ancient storybook. It's got 88 official chapters, and they're filled with endless stories of science, myth, and human adventure. The only question left is, which chapter will you read first?